Hi, it's Kerry from Mobilates, and I'm here for 30 minutes of gentle exercise, getting your body moving today because it is chilly around the UK. I'm in Devon and the sun has dropped and it feels really quite cold, although we've not had any snow yet. So let me know how you're getting on. Maybe you've had snow this week. It seems to have come a little early this year. Let me know in the comments. But we'll start with, I'm going to start with just rubbing my hands just to get them a little bit warmer. But then we're going to shake everything else. And remember, in this session, I'll try and get all the different positions in so you can do this however is best for you. If you like to stand, if you like to sit, if you're working from a bed, you might sit on the edge of your bed and then lie on the bed for the lying down section, or you can sit throughout. Mix it up. It depends what's available to you. But at the moment, I'm just sort of giving everything just a little wriggle. Like I'm trying to wriggle inside. I've got quite a baggy jumper on today. Wriggle inside the jumper. Tighter leggings, I can't wriggle inside them in quite the same way. So I just give my legs a little wiggle. And you can feel all the skin and flesh. Just have a little wiggle as you do that. And then coming down to your feet, give them a little rub on the floor. We're going to be doing this a lot in the next few months because when the weather is cold and your circulation is not as good, you need to get the blood flowing, especially to your feet. Even if you can't hardly feel them, just a little bit is better than nothing. So you can see me doing this sort of rubbing, wiping, and as I do it, I can feel my sock against the sole of my feet. I can feel a hint of warmth. I have Raynaud's, so my hands and feet do get really quite chilly. Right, now we've got that going. We've got a better base. We're more secure, so we can potentially feel our feet a bit more. So sitting or standing tall. And I've got my feet about hip width, a little bit wider, maybe about shoulder width, just to give myself a good base. Now, if you're standing, soften your knees slightly. We're going to go into our pelvic tilt. So for a pelvic tilt, I'll show you what it looks like from the side. We're just working, just see where I've got from my thumb to my finger. It's this section of the back, the lumbar. So if you think of the word lumbago, people will often rub their back here. They've got lumbago. It's a bit of an old-fashioned word, but it is a backache that affects the low back, the lumbar. So we're just moving the lumbar. Now I like my hand on my belly and my hand on my back for this because I can feel my belly come forwards and then my back, it's like my bum dropping down. And this movement is powered not by a squeeze of the bum, but it's a little squeeze of the belly muscles. It's like you're pulling your belly button towards you and up a little bit. Or you imagine doing a zip up on a very high-waisted pair of trousers. I'm just seeing who is here today. Jack is here today. Irene is here today. I hope you're both not too cold. I'm just warming up this section here, but let's have a little shake out again and just keep all of everything else warm. And then back to that same position. A little tap at the back of your head. A little rub on the bridge of your nose. If you wear glasses, it's right where the glasses sit. And I can feel coldness there today because my finger is cold. Take that sensation back a little. And just notice when you do that, we go from this to this. You get this length at the back of your neck. Now, give your shoulders a wiggle, just so they don't hunch or go forwards or back. Just a little softness in the shoulders. And turn your head side to side. Now, if you've got a small range of movement, if your neck is really stiff, make it a really small turn. And let your breath come in and out at any time. Don't hold it. That's it. Come back to the center. We're going to look to the side. Now send your eyes up, so you're looking towards the ceiling, and let your chin skim over your collarbone and look up to the other side and breathe in. And then breathe out as you just hover over your collarbones and turn and look to the other side, breathing in. Breathing out, hovering. We're going to go one more time. Get ready to breathe in, looking up. And breathe out, come back to the center. There we are. Right, let's start the shoulders. So you could go both together, or I encourage you to go one and then the other and listen to what they're telling you. So mine is saying this side, it's not moving as freely as this side. So I'm just going to go a little easier on myself rather than doing the biggest ones I can do. I'm going to make it a little smaller until it feels happier. It feels safer. That's it. And one more. And then we're going to go into elbow sort of circles, hands or fingers or thumbs, just somewhere up along this collarbone sort of area, shoulders. And then start to draw a few circles each way with the point of your elbow. If you're doing this on a chair, you could either turn to the side, but then that's only good for one elbow. Or if you're facing forwards, come forwards on the chair a little bit. Otherwise, as you do this, you tend to biff your elbow on the back of the chair. No one needs that. And then you can start to move one and the other and let the waist start to turn. If you're standing, your hips can turn. And if you're feeling very adventurous, we can reverse it and take them forwards. That's it. Well done. Take your arms down. We're going down to the feet again. So let's give them another rub and wake up. You can even rub one foot on top of another. And that gets the top of the foot warm, but also the sole of the foot that's doing the rubbing. There, right. Now, again, we're standing with this slightly wider stance, so we're not this narrow, a little bit wider. If you're seated though, I encourage you to make it a bit narrower, quite close together, maybe one fist. And we're going to start taking our heels up and down. Just going to go to the side so you can see mine going up. And if you're standing, you might hold on to something, or you might just let your arms gently go outwards just to help your balance. That's it. And then we're going to start alternating. So we'll go up, and then we'll take the arms out to the side. My palms are down. It's like sort of a wet washing line. They come down, my heels go up. And my heels come down, my arms go up. I'm not going to my highest, because if I go to my highest, you can hear that little click. That's okay. But that starts to happen. I start to get the wobbles. So I'm taking it just a little, like a kitten heel, because I really want control with this. I'm going straight up. And for this, there's just a little bit of tension around this whole core area. It's just working to keep you really upright as you alternate. And if you're sitting, you can even have your legs really stuck together, like they've got Velcro all along this inside line. And we almost, I'll try not to knock the plant over, almost getting into a sort of flying movement. That would be lovely. The flying would be lovely, not knocking the plant. And last one. Well done. Right, now, something a bit freer. So still with this forwards and backwards. Palms are in, and we can send hips forwards and backwards if you're standing. If you're seated, take your legs a little wider, and we can have these arms going, and the arms fit just between the legs and coming slightly forwards and a little bit more up, just send the chest up. If you want to come further forwards, you can do it with a straight back. That tends to help for osteoporosis and osteopenia, where you don't want weight through the spine. You could even put your hands here and then go upwards. It's like an extra sort of breaker. That's it. And if you're standing, you might send your bottom further back. See, my back is straight as I do that. I'm just looking ahead. In fact, I'm looking at a window, and then I go to a lower part of the window that I'm looking at. So I'm looking through the glass over there, and then as I dip down, I'm at the sort of crossbar, and that's the 2 points that I look at as I do that. And it just really helps And last one. Well done. Right, now we're going to do a little balance work. Now you might want to do this with a chair close by, or you might want to do it with a wall at your side if you're thinking your balance is a little bit wobbly today, or you might feel fine about it. So I'm just going to move a little further back so you can see my feet a bit more. This is going to be my static leg. It's like my home base that I'm always going to come back to. This leg is going to move, and my weight's going to move forwards with this leg to the side and back, but it's always going to come back to this leg. So this is my forwards, like I'm taking a step, and then I'm going to push back this way. Then it's going out to the side, weight shifts over, and then it's going to shift back. This foot's just pushing me back, so it's over this leg. Backwards, pushing me back forwards. So it's like steps in different directions. Now if you're doing this on the chair, if I work the same leg coming forwards, this leg's a little tucked back, so it's not quite at 90, so I step forwards. And I've got my hands on the chair for this one, because there's a bit more shifting. I don't want to fall off the chair. And then for this one, could have a little lean back. We could take that leg forwards a little, just have a little play around with it, because it's hard to get exactly the same sort of movement going. So we're doing an adaptation there. So forwards, side, little back, shift that leg a little, and then we're going to change legs. Forwards, side, shifting over and back. I'm going to go for a little back and up. I like that one a couple of times. And if I'm standing, forwards, push back, shift, push back, backwards, push back. You can have your arms more forwards if that helps, or just moving them as it works for this sort of movement. That's it. And then stop, give everything a little shake out. Let's do something a little swishier. So just getting our hands to have a little swish around us like it's warm water. We're in a jacuzzi. Cocktails at the side, some snacks maybe. And then if you want a bit more than that, you might let your arms sort of flow gently onto your body, just flopping onto your belly and your back. You can see my legs, my hips moving with this. And if I'm doing this seated, I'll let my feet move a little, my legs move, and I like my legs really wide for this. I don't tend to fling my arms when I'm seated because I know I'll hit myself on the chair or the chest of drawers. And then bring it back to the centre. If you're seated, I'd like just to come forwards with your hands on your thighs, and then reach one hand, keep your bum where it is, and just have a little twist to one side, a little twist to the other. Just keep your bum, you don't want it lifting like that, you want to keep it really still. And then do that with the other arm. If you're standing, send your bum back, hands on the thighs. You don't need to be right down here. Think of it higher, like you're just reaching onto a kitchen worktop or a sink. Again, keep your feet and hips where they are, and we're getting this turn and this movement's coming here from the ribs and the waist. And then we're going to swap to the other hand. That's it. And then push into your heels and go upright. And then we're going to take the arms up by our sides, like in a big sort of rugby goal post. Here's my hands having a little wave to you. And we're going to pull the elbows downwards, like they're going through something sticky and resistant. And then let them come up, pulling them down. Breathing in and let them just softly bounce up. Squeezing them down. And this squeeze, you might imagine it here, but it's happening really across here, across these shoulder blades. A little bit under the arms as well. It's actually coming some of it from muscles just there and there. So a little squeeze there. A little bit under here actually as well. That's it. And I'll show you from the side. I'm trying to get my hands really at the side, a bit like I've been squashed, like a pressed flour. Now, you might not be able to get your hands there. It might be more like that. Still fine, go with it. It's all good. And then place your hands on your chest. Take a breath in. Close your eyes if you want to. And as you breathe out, just push upwards into your hands with your chest. As you breathe in, just let that relax. Breathing out, push upwards with your chest into your hands. And then let it relax as you breathe in. One more. Lovely. I really like those little sternal breastbone raises. Right. Next, we're going either down to the floor, down to a bed, or you could stay seated. And I'm going to use my sofa as the sort of seated example. Otherwise, it gets a bit complicated with chairs and my legs. I don't want to hit the chair if I move my legs too much. And we're going to start with either lying on your back, maybe a cushion underneath your head, or sitting on your chair with a little bit of space behind you. And just letting your breath steady itself first. And having, particularly if you've just gone to the floor or your bed, and if you're on your bed, pull the duvet back so you're just on the mattress and the sheet. And just spend a bit of time just having a little wriggle and getting yourself comfortable. Check that your gaze is straight up at the ceiling. If you're lying down, it's straight ahead. If you are seated, wriggle of your hips. And having your feet, you want your feet on the floor with your legs bent for the moves that we're about to do. But you might have your legs further forward or closer to your bum. You can keep moving them if it feels like it needs a change. Right, that's my last wriggle. Now, I'd like you to breathe in, and this time I'd like you to send your breath to your back. So your back almost expands, or you might feel it pressing down and expanding into your mat or bed. And if you are seated, just feeling it spreading out behind you, and your ribs at the side moving outwards. You could even put your hands somewhere around your waist and the sides of your ribs here. So breathing in, and as you breathe out, your belly is just pulling back towards you, pulling your belly button back towards you, and your pubic bone going to tilt towards you as well. And then it's going to rock away. Now, as we do this, I want you to imagine something behind your back that you are squishing and then making a bit of space for. So if you're seated, it's going to be something quite big because there's a lot of room behind your back. Can help to put something like a big squishy cushion so you can feel that against your back. And if you're seated, you could imagine something like a chocolate eclair or a profiterole, something that they've made on Bake Off possibly, that's got a filling, and you can squash it and squeeze it all out. That's it. And one more of those. And then if you're seated, I want you to make sure you're on the front third of the chair. We're going to take a breath in, just the same, so that expansion at the back and the sides. And as you breathe out, feeling a little squeeze and tension on the belly, like a little lifting back and up. Slide a leg and make your leg longer. So you're trying to take some of the bend out or all of the bend out. And then as you breathe in, slide it back. You don't want anything else to move. You don't want to be shifting side to side. So you're getting a bit of control all around your front, sides and back. Other side. That's it. And just keep alternating. So that's how it looks lying down. Seated. Just sliding forwards, sliding back. You might find if you're seated, you're comfortable just to lean back. I'm just leaning back and I can feel it's all working a little harder here. Now, if that hurts in any way, come back to upright. You might just want to be a tiny bit back. We're going to start bringing some arms into this. So I'd like to start hovering your arms just off your chair, just off the ground if you're doing this lying down. And then I'd like to start lifting your arms upwards. So they might be going behind you almost if you're lying down. They'll be going more towards the ceiling if you're seated. And you're just trying to keep your body in the middle, your torso, your belly, all that good stuff, still. And your arms and legs are moving. Now, if it feels too much, go with one and then the other. I'm doing opposite sides there. And I don't mind what hand position you have. Palms down, thumbs up. I'm changing it around just to feel different things. And you can close your eyes. I love doing Pilates style movements with my eyes closed. One more each side. And then let the legs have a little side to side sway, whether you're lying down or whether you're seated. I'm going to come back to lying down. Right, next, if you're lying down, slide any cushion that's under your head away. And we're going to go into a bridge. Now, if you're seated, you're going to go back to a pelvic tilt. And we're going to put different things into this. So lying down, tend to move my feet a little bit closer to me. We'll do our pelvic tilt just like before. So these breath into your sides, your back, and then that pulling towards you of your belly. And you're feeling your back squashing the eclair or profiterole or whatever thing you had underneath. But now, press into your feet. Feel your bum start to hover. You can see it's hovering. And then lift your hips up a little higher. Now, don't let your knees go out for this one. I want them just going straight ahead. And then lower yourself down. And if you're seated, just doing your pelvic tilts. I'm going to vary it in a moment. That's it. We're just working these bridges. My back's a little stiff. Just roll it down. Oh, that's better. Right, now, when you do your next pelvic tilt or your bridge, see if you can move your arms. They're going to be either going up towards the ceiling, could also be like this, or ahead of you if you're seated, and then keep them there as you move into your pelvic tilts or your bridge up and down. So this is the lying down version. And then the seated version. And in between, you could bring your arms up and down and then leave them ahead, pull back. You can see my top just changing as I pull back here. A little break, having the arms up and down. And one more. And then if you're lying down, the next position is on your front. So I'm going to show the front position for seated people first. I'd like to place your hands one on top of the other and just place them in front of your forehead. Press your hands into your forehead and press your head gently into your hands. There's a little bit of resistance. Take a breath in. Take it into your sides and your back. And as you breathe out, just take your head back a little, like we did at the beginning when we tapped the back of our head and the bridge of our nose, and then let them touch your hands. From the side, I'll show you this way around. This is where I'm in contact and I'm pressing just a little into the hands. Take that breath and then pulling it back as I breathe out and then letting it come forwards. I'm trying not to move my hands. I think I did then. Now, on the floor, it's just the same. Use your hands as your cushion, and that's where your head is resting. And if it feels too high with your hands stacked, take your hands into a sort of diamond shape, finger and thumb, sort of drawing a kite shape or a diamond, and rest your head in there. I prefer that. Give your bum a little wiggle, check that everything's comfortable, and reach your legs long, and they're quite close, they're not super far, and your feet aren't flopped out like that, they're long. Breath in. See, I'm giving my shoulders a little roll. And as we breathe out, roll the shoulders down and away. And bring the head up. Don't press into your arms. And then take it down. Lifting up on your exhale. and taking it down. Up and down. Up and down. Then have a rest. Take your hands down if you're seated. Give your bum a wiggle from side to side. The next position I'll show lying down first. We're going to have our hands down. I want you to lift up and then take a leg just a little up and long. Leg down, head down. Head up just like before, and then leg, it's a little bit up, but it's more than anything, it's long. It's like it's reaching for a button over on a skirting board, like a doorbell. Take it down, a doorbell for mice. And once you've got the hang of it, you might be able to do them both together, or you might prefer to take your time, lift your head up, then your leg down, head down. So just see what you prefer. I'm doing a bit of both. If you are seated, I'd like you to just tap your feet back a little, one at a time, just tapping your legs underneath. And then you can have your arms by your sides and then pull your elbows down. This is very similar to what we did before. The hands are slightly more forward, pulling down, squeezing, and then go back to the legs. Tap that foot behind, tap behind. And I'm keeping my toes and the ball of my foot down, rather than I'm not folding onto the front of my foot on this one. That's it. And you can also sit to the side, working one leg, slide that leg back, and then bring it the other way. Now this depends if you've got a slippy floor. If you've got carpet, it's more of a stepping it back. Just see how far you can get, and then swap around to do the other side. I have to sit at the other end of the sofa for that one. If you're lying down, switch off for a moment and let your bum have a wave from side to side. And then we'll keep the head down this time, and we'll try both legs together. Squeeze them towards each other. They can be apart, but if you can squeeze them together, try that. Just lifting them up and long. So they're not trying to go way up here. They're just coming off the floor, but they're long and down. Or you could lift one and then the other and take them down. And last one. And then we're going to push ourselves to a seated position. So if you're seated already, you're in the right position. Just have a little wiggle whilst you're there. And if you're on the floor, you might roll onto your side first. I'm going to push back to a sort of all fours that way. And take yourself to a seated position where you feel you can sit upright. You can see I'm just getting some cushions, because these are going to help me sit a little more upright. And legs in a comfortable position for you. So I quite like cross-legged, but you could have your legs long. I want your back upright rather than hunched. And we're going to do a little spinal movement here. So could you put your hands forwards? I'm doing a sort of stop sign, but if they won't go for a stop sign, forwards like that is fine. They don't need to be straight. So your hands are forwards. Now could you pull your collarbone here and your neck away from your hands? You'll feel your head wants to bow down a little. And then come back up again, take the hands down, a little wiggle. Hands forwards again. This time pull your belly away from your hands. And come back up, take it down. We'll do that once more each one. So hands forwards. Pull your neck and your collarbone back. Take a breath in to your back. And as you breathe out, sit up and let the hands just come down. Have a little wiggle. Last one, hands forwards. We're going to pull the belly back. Now breathe into your back. As you breathe out, come upright and let the hands come down. Have a little wiggle. Give your shoulders a little shimmy. Maybe a little shrug up and down. And then take your palms out to the side. Scoop up the air. Bring your hands together into your chest. Maybe give them a little rub. Oh, mine is super cold. I need to get the heating on. I hope you have a lovely rest of your evening. Please stay warm over this chilly period that we're getting and enjoy any sun that comes out and seeing the beautiful colours as we go from autumn into winter. Have a lovely week. I'll see you soon.